from the Umoja Debate League.
How everybody doing? Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. How you doing? Man, I'm super excited for y'all to be able to, see the brilliance of these young minds today. So, like you mentioned, my name is Darcel Brown. I'm the operations manager for the Umoja Debate League. It's a 501c nonprofit in the city of Detroit. It primarily pushes students to, be on speech and debate programs. We currently have roughly 24 to 25 middle and high school programs. It caters to students ages 11 through 18. Primarily our mission with the organization is to be able to equip students, of course, with increasing literacy, comprehension, critical thinking skills, of course, public speaking skills, but also self-awareness, right? And our vision ultimately is to be able to create a bridge for future lawyers, because we do have a future lawyers pipeline initiative, but also to make sure that they are leaders in whatever endeavors or industries that they will be in. Right, so essentially for the debate today, the students will be debating, I think, a very important, relevant conversation as it relates to education. I think that a lot of times, especially younger folks, and even when I was in high school, there was always a question of what is your post-secondary education track going to look like? And oftentimes, of course, that is either getting a degree and going to a university, or getting a trade of some sort, in some certification or profession. And I know these days, of course, we see the ever-looming concern in terms of, obviously the negative impacts of what's happening with education in the country, with the Department of Education on the state and local levels. So obviously, we of course think this is critical, but in terms of students' financial access, right, it's something that we have to think about a little bit more, critically, right? So I think that the vocational tracking process for individuals is something that people are starting to lean toward, right? But often we don't really debate the implications. We just say, okay, go get your trade, go get you some money, you're not going to be in debt, right? But we never have any, nuance or depth beyond just that base level assessment of the dollar amount that the student or the individual is going to obtain, right? But we don't talk about, for example, the intrinsic value of what that trade or any of those things will do, right? So that's essentially what the students will be able to showcase, and I'll have them come up right now to the stage and before. Yep. Both teams. They've been working hard. So our debate season runs from January to June each year. Our championship team at the end of the year are awarded a trip. I thought it was very interesting yesterday, the conversation that was being had about exposure and access for our young students. Last year, we were gracious enough to be able to get funding and send students to Ghana and Accra for about 2 weeks. So our high school and middle school program was able to do that. And of course, again, like I mentioned, because of kind of the uncertainty about travel logistics and things of that sort, we didn't want to, endanger or make sure that the student safety wasn't a priority. So this year we'll be doing the civil rights trip, which literally when we leave here like Saturday, on Monday, we're hopping on the charter and then like going through the South. So we have a pretty stacked schedule, right? So they have been competing literally all year. Some of them have been competing the past few years in our league. So we essentially handpicked these students from our various programs or high schools in the league, so they definitely have showed a strong sense of competitiveness and rigor. So we definitely thought that they were great individuals to be able to showcase what our organization does and what it has to offer. So with that being said, I will bring up 2 individuals and we'll get started. I wanted to bring up our program manager really briefly, or at least, so y'all can just see the great individual, our coach's coach. So he's the one for all of our contracted coaches at all of our programs in the city. He's primarily responsible for ensuring that they have all the curriculum needs, that they train the coaches who may not have prior debate experience, and ultimately just as always, an aid or a service during the tournaments as well. And of course, last but not least, pretty much the glue that holds us all together is our administrative manager, Jalen Morgan. So she has been around, definitely around. She has been around since the inception of the Umoja Debate League, which started in 2021. So pretty much literally from the beginning of starting at just one middle school in Detroit on the west side to expanding all throughout Detroit, the metro Detroit area. She's kind of seen the development and have been a very critical part of pretty much everything in the organization. So. And she's going to be the individual that's also going to moderate the debate for us today. So she'll be able to, communicate the transitions in terms of individuals that might not be familiar with our format to let you all know who's going to come up to speak next. So, without further ado, I'll let her get to it and we can get started.
All right, good morning, everyone. Good morning. All right, so before we begin, I would like our judges to just wave your hands so we know where you are. All right. And then I would like our students, I would like you to introduce yourself, just state your name, what school you go to, and what grade you're in.
My name is Yasmine Goode. I go to Redford. My name is Yasmine Goode. I go to Redford High School, and I am a graduated senior.
My name is Cierra Gee, and I am a rising senior at Jalen Rose Leadership Academy.
Hi, my name is Wayne Taylor. I'm a soon-to-be senior at Redford High School.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Kyla Canty, and I'm a rising sophomore at Renaissance High School in Detroit, Michigan.
All right, so the resolution for this debate is: schools should provide vocational training programs over college preparatory courses in predominantly minority communities. So representing the affirmative side, we have Wayne Taylor and Kyla Canty, and then representing the negative side, we have Yasmine Goode and Cierra Gee. So some important reminders: each speaker will have a designated time to present their arguments. Time will begin when they say their first word. If the speaker exceeds their allotted time, they will be able to finish their last sentence, and you will hear this when the time is up. Okay. All right. And then use of electronics are not permitted. And then also, please maintain a respectful decorum throughout the debate. We may begin. So first, we have So first we have our first affirmative constructive speech. So please approach the podium. You have 4 minutes and the time will start when you say your first word.
Good morning, judges, audience, and my fellow debaters. My name is Wayne Taylor from Detroit, Michigan, representing Redford High School. Me and my partner are here today to affirm the resolution that schools should prioritize vocational training over college preparatory courses in predominantly minority communities. While college is often viewed as an opportunity for personal growth, self-discovery, and building new relationships, the path to higher education isn't always accessible. For many minority students, significant barriers such as financial hardship, insufficient academic preparation, and systemic inequalities like discrimination and underrepresentation limits their access. These challenges frequently perpetuate a cycle of disadvantages that are difficult to overcome. For these 3 contentions, we urge you guys to vote affirmative. Contention 1, the affirmative is more cost-effective for low-income families while college is a debt trap. According to the Department of Education College Scorecard, just 4% of borrowers attending elite or highly selective institutions hold 12% of all student debt from 2017 to 2018. This is largely because of expensive graduate programs like MBAs and law degrees. For example, Harvard Law students graduate with an average of $143,000 in debt and collectively owe taxpayers over $500 million, adding only 2021. Nationwide, over 40% of all student loan debt comes from graduate and professional programs, with elite schools leading the charge. These institutions are fueling a debt crisis under the guise of prestige while shifting long-term financial burdens onto the public. While in contrast, vocational trade typically costs between $3,600 and $16,000 per year and lasts around 2 years, much less than pursuing a 4-year degree, which can average from $24,000 to $50,000. Yet at least 2021. This enables students from low-income backgrounds to enter the income stream sooner without incurring significant debt. Contention 2, college discriminates while training innovates. Ensuring all students, disabled or not, have a fair academic chance should be a top priority for any institution. But the 2014 Student Experience Research Study showed otherwise. 63,802 students with learning disabilities reported struggling with assignments and facing more non-academic obstacles tied to their skill level. Sparks and Lovett, 2009. Even worse, only about 1/3 of these students received accommodations. Wealthier and out-of-state students were more likely to get help with receiving accommodations. Means that help could have been provided, they just didn't want to provide it to the students who had less than. That's diabolical. Now we know what college can do, let's take a look at what vocational training can. A longitudinal study in Washington State found that students with learning disabilities who completed concentrated sequences of career and technical education courses had higher rates of post-graduation employment than peers who took no CTE classes. Contention 3, college creates workers while affirmative creates their bosses. The U.S. education was never built to create entrepreneurs. The Rockefeller-funded General Education Board gave $43 million by 1907 to promote vocational tracks for students not headed to college, reinforcing a model that trained laborers and not leaders. Alex Kasprak, 2023. This structure has long limited minority access to ownership. However, a 2023 Urban Institute study of programs in Atlanta, Fayetteville, and DC found that offering business courses, one-on-one coaching, and small business development centers help Black entrepreneurs stay launched and sustain businesses despite systemic barriers. Bowles, Spalding, and Newton, 2024. These programs are essential to undoing built-in inequities. Conclusion. These contentions, underpinned by peer-reviewed, expert, and cons, demonstrate predominantly poverty, disability, and under-equitable cost effectiveness. The vocational offers entrepreneurially empowering education and college preparatory pathways. So that's why we urge you to vote for it. That's it.
Let's go. It's now time for the executive cross-examination. You have 2.5 minutes and the time will start when you ask your first question.
Since we are prioritizing preparing students for college, how will these insufficiently be prepared?
Can you repeat that again?
Since we are prioritizing preparing students for college, how would that be insufficiently prepared?
I don't understand why college has to be the default for preparation when not everybody wants to go to college. I feel like we should accommodate the people who have trade school in mind after high school.
Okay, so if we left trade school as an option, why is it that trade school would need to be provided over college preparatory courses?
Because college preparatory courses have always been put as the norm, and it's not necessarily the norm for everyone.
Okay, do you know how long people that go into vocational fields stay in those fields in the long run?
I know.
Okay, what is the overall impact of vocational training?
So people accomplish their dreams.
And college doesn't do that.
It comes to more of a risk considering that the debt with college averages from $24,000 to $50,000 annually.
Okay, what specific jobs and industry do you identify as vocational training?
Cybersecurity, dentistry, radiation therapy, etc.
Okay. What evidence do you have to support vocational training is a better opportunity than college courses?
We have evidence that shows it's better in terms of cost, it's better in terms of promoting entrepreneurs, and it's just better especially for people with learning disabilities.
So are you saying that college doesn't promote entrepreneurs?
Yes.
Okay. Can you define a job?
A career that pays, a passion, a dream.
So you wouldn't say that a job and a career is different?
No.
Okay, that's all I have for you.
Thank you.
All right. Can y'all hear me? Yeah. Yes. Y'all can hear me?
Yes.
All right. It is now time for the first negative constructive speech. Please approach the podium. The time will start.
Imagine being told what you can be before you have the chance to decide. Worse, imagine being told what you can't be before you've had the chance to dream. That's what happens when we tell students in urban schools that trades are their best or even their only option. It's not that trade jobs are bad, it's that limiting students to one path is. While we recognize the value of vocational training, we firmly believe that college preparatory education should be prioritized because it gives students the most opportunity, the most stability, and the most freedom to choose. And those are things every student deserves. Good morning, judges, fellow debaters, and audience. My name is Cierra Gee, and I am a rising senior representing Jalen Rose Leadership Academy in Detroit, Michigan. Today, me and my partner offer you 3 contentions: career diversity, stability, and educational freedom. Our first contention, career diversity, says that college prep opens doors that vocational training does not. Trades usually lead to specific jobs like welding or plumbing, while college prep leads to careers in medicine, law, education, engineering, and or business. According to a Georgetown University Center of Education study and the workforce, it is shown that over 65% of U.S. jobs now require some form of post-secondary education, and most of those are accessible through college and not trades. Most importantly, college prep students gain access to fields of leadership, upward mobility, and room to grow. There's something for every student, and not just in these wealthy schools. Every student deserves a chance because college degrees offer more flexibility and security, which moves me on to my second contention, stability. The U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics shows that college graduates earn a median weekly income of $1,543 compared to $973 with people who have an associate's degree or a trade certification. That's a difference of over $29,000 a year. And it's not just about pay. Many trade workers are self-employed or contract-based, which means they often don't receive health benefits, paid leave, or retirement support, which are things that are more consistently seen in college-based careers in structured organizations. On top of that, over 25% of trade-based jobs are at high risk of automation in the coming decade, according to the Brookings Institute. College prep builds critical thinking, communication, and tech fluency, which are skills that help students adapt and not just survive. But this isn't just about economics, it's about choice. which brings me to my third and final contention, educational freedom. When vocational training is prioritized in urban schools, it sends a subtle yet dangerous message that college isn't for these students. According to the Brookings Institute, wealthier schools offer more college counseling and AP classes while urban schools do not. If you push trade schools in schools that already lack college access, you are not offering a choice, you are removing one. True freedom means prepping every student for college and letting them decide if they want to take a different route. We are not here to say that vocational training doesn't matter, because we believe in choice, but only when it is real. And choice isn't real when one option is underfunded, undertaught, or out of reach. College prep doesn't just prepare students for college, it prepares them for possibilities, for fields they haven't even heard of, for futures that they have yet to imagine. And this is why college prep should be a mandatory, especially in communities where more doors are shut than they are open. Vocational training always has and always will exist, and it should be a choice, but not a default. Not a shortcut that should be handed out because someone else decided that their dream was too big. Because what if our next doctor, engineer, poet, policymaker is already in a classroom? And what if the only thing standing in between them and that future is what somebody told them they could or could not achieve? Thank you.
In your first contention, you said college prep leads to careers in medicine, law, and education, correct?
Yes.
But like I stated earlier, over 40% of all student loan debt comes from those same graduate and professional programs. So is college education really worth a lifetime of debt?
Could you rephrase that question?
The careers that you named that college offers are those same programs that lead to debt. So what I'm saying is pursuing those worth a lifetime of debt?
You don't necessarily have to be in a lifetime of debt when you go to college. There are programs and things that help relieve that debt.
Are you sure? Because the programs that you specifically named requires about 4 years of school. And like I said earlier, the annual cost ranges from $24,000 to $50,000. So I'm asking again, is it worth a lifetime of debt?
You will not necessarily be in a lifetime of debt when you go to college. There are programs that help relieve that debt.
Next question. Your claim prioritizing trade when it's choice, but if schools only push college prep, isn't that also limited choice?
Where our resolution is not saying that we should take away vocational training, is that we should prioritize college prep and give students this choice.
But aren't you still not promoting vocational training as an option?
We never said that.
Sure. All right. Move on to the next question. You said in your third contention that true freedom means preparing every student for college and then letting them decide if they want to take a different route, correct?
Yes.
But wouldn't that be a waste of time and resources for students who already have their mind set on trade?
Not necessarily.
Why wouldn't it be?
When you go to college, there are still things that you learn, especially in college prep, that can be displayed amongst all trades and any job you decide to pursue. So it's not necessarily a waste of time as we are still giving them these skills.
Okay. Do you have any evidence that shows vocational training has put students in debt?
No.
You said college offers skills to help in leadership, right?
Yes.
But as I proved earlier in my contention, vocational courses help Black entrepreneurs launch and sustain businesses. So is that not a leadership role in itself?
It is also a leadership role, but college also does this in many ways also.
If college prep works so well, why is it? Oh, okay.
All right. It's now time for the second and further constructive speech. You have 4 minutes, and the time will start in 3 minutes.
Good morning, fellow esteemed judges, debaters, and community. My name is Kyla Canty, representing Renaissance High School as a rising sophomore from Detroit, Michigan. Today, I stand firmly on the affirmative side of today's resolution. Schools should provide vocational training over college preparatory courses in predominantly minority communities. Now, let's dive into what the debate has shown thus far. To begin, my constituent Wayne has essentially shown that anything college can do, we can do better. Vocational training prepares students cost-effectively for every career path. That's contention 1. With specialized curriculums that matches every student's needs, no matter how special they may be. Contention 2. And empower students to become entrepreneurs in a way college never could or has. Contention 3. This is a framing issue for today's debate. The affirmative has all of the benefits colleges want to have with none of the risks they've shown. The negative side has told you about career diversification and the importance of knowledge them. However, they won't tell you about the 41.9 million Americans that were college dropouts by 2022, and the fact that those 41.9 million Americans are 20% more likely to become unemployed. Clearly, the college preparatory courses aren't doing what they're meant to do. They won't tell you about the reported bias and statistics that show college discriminates against students with special needs. And they certainly won't tell you about the culture of college campuses compared to vocational training centers. And just to be clear, ladies and gentlemen, when I say the culture of college, I don't just mean partying. I mean mass shootings and sexual assault cases. Let me take this further. Many studies and stories have shown that students aren't always the safest on college campuses. A national study comparing past year rape rates found 5.15% of college women were raped during the academic year versus just 0.52% of the same age non-students. That makes college students almost 9 times more likely to be sexually assaulted than their counterparts. This obviously leaves devastating effects on them physically, psychologically, yet also academically. The National Library of Medicine studied 13 articles with consistent results of the academic consequences of sexual assault. These results include lower GPA rates, dropping out of university, and self-regulated learning problems, which we already know how college reacts to learning problems. Now, let's talk about mass shootings. Since 1966, there has been 17 mass shootings at college campuses, killing 177 people. Additionally, there has been 385 instances of gunfire outside of mass shootings since 2013 alone, killing 111 people and injuring 266. That's almost the amount of people in this room. You can take a look around. We have a dire need to protect our students, especially those who are already marginalized. While this all may sound jarring, it's hundreds and thousands of students' families' realities. Speaking of reality, let's focus on it. The negative has given you a series of claims that don't show the full truth. In fact, they're rhetoric, not reality. They said we need college to generate career diversification. Rhetoric, not reality. As the negative has already pointed out themselves with their claim about labor, we provide more fields in college. All of them that Sierra listed. However, we have STEM, law, the arts, cosmetology, healthcare, culinary arts, the trades, and more. They argue that college provides more stability. However, the average amount of debt for a college graduate with their bachelor's is $35,530 without interest, while the only average salary is $54,700. And that's only if you graduate. College dropouts will evidently make less money if employed at all. Even if you end up staying in the same career field, are you stable or are you stagnant? They also argue if we invest in college, we decide who gets to be the boss. Rhetoric, not reality. While 25% of vocational training graduates become entrepreneurs, only 2.5% of college graduates become entrepreneurs. For the true success of our students, the resolution must stand. I now stand open for cross-examination. Thank you. I know that is a very dry amount.
Do you know how many cases of sexual assault are reported every year?
No, I do not. But I do know that it's a terrible thing happening at college campuses, which you're advocating for.
Is it not a thing that happens in the everyday world? Is it not something that could happen also at a trade school per se?
As I've already shown, yes, it can happen in other places, but you're 9 times more likely to be sexually assaulted if you're a college student than your same age non-counterparts.
How does college not increase career diversification?
Can you rephrase that question?
How does college, you said that one of our contingents was career diversification, which it was, and you said you cannot expand. How does college not increase career diversification?
I'm not saying that college doesn't necessarily increase career diversification, but what I am saying is that vocational training also provides it. So you can't say, oh, we can't have vocational training be the norm because it doesn't have career diversification, because it does.
Was that something that we stated in one of our arguments?
Your argument against vocational training and your contention is career diversification, so yes.
Our resolution is that we should prioritize college prep and leave vocational training as an option.
And your reason for that is career diversification.
My next question is, why are you prioritizing vocational training for minority students specifically?
Well, for minority students specifically, as I stated before, college has more risk. College isn't always safe. And also, vocational training is already a white-dominated field. So why shouldn't we give it out to students in minority communities that are already marginalized and give them a chance to success?
Is it not true that college is also predominantly white majority? As there are only about 150 HBCUs, is it not true that most colleges are also predominantly white?
I never said that wasn't true.
I'm asking you that question.
That may be true, yes.
You guys don't speak about apprenticeships in your arguments. How long are apprenticeships on average?
I'm not sure. Would you like to tell me?
Apprenticeships on average are anywhere from 2 to 4 years, which is about the same amount of time as it takes to do a college degree. So while to get that initial certification, which can take anywhere from 3 months to a year, you still have to secure this apprenticeship. And as you said, trades are a white-dominated field, which makes these apprenticeships less likely.
Do you have a question? Good morning.
Good morning. You got 4 minutes and the time will start clear.
Good morning, judges, opponents, and audience. My name is Yasmine Goode, and I am representing the negative side of today's resolution. Schools should provide vocational training programs over college preparatory courses in predominantly minority communities. I will first strengthen our 3 contentions and then further expose my opponent's case. Contention 1, career diversity. Think about the identities of the people in these predominantly minority communities, a fair percentage of whom are Black or African American. Not only would this be pushing the narrative that we cannot pursue more, but it's also strengthening the servitude mindset that for years have been pushed on people of color. It limits our access to higher paying or even long-term career fields. For example, in Massachusetts, during the 2022 through 2023 school year, only 55% of students of color who applied to vocational technical schools were admitted, compared to the 69% of white students, even when applicants were equally qualified. This reflects a broader pattern in which vocational programs are often presented as the practical option. It's not only less accessible to students of color, but also often frequently pushed in place of college prep tracks. Contention 2, stability. Argumentatively, college preparatory courses have longer lasting effects than vocational training programs, like the fact that college graduates face lower unemployment rates compared to high school graduates. We also need to think about the future, and that means acknowledging the rise of automation. According to Brookings Institution, 25% of U.S. jobs are at high risk of being automated, and the risk is especially high in trade-based roles, like manufacturing, transportation, and construction. Prioritizing vocational training in these fields may prepare students for jobs that won't even exist in the next 10 years. In contrast, college prep pathways build skills like critical thinking and adaptability, tools that help students evolve with that job market. Contention 3, educational freedom. The outcome of what college does for minority students and the variety of choice that comes along with it. Historically, we are all aware that access to education was forbidden for people in America. We often treat education like a luxury in today's society, but often do not recognize how our access or inability to obtain a higher education degree can alter the trajectory of your life. Opportunities that our ancestors bled for. Now let's shift our focus to educational disparities. Differences in access to quality education, particularly due to segregated schools and housing, could disadvantage Black individuals in acquiring the skills and credentials needed for higher paying jobs. Now on to my opponent's case. They continuously paint college in a negative light, not acknowledging that college could bring more and longer lasting opportunities. There are various college degrees that are flexible opposed to trade certificates that are more job specific. Now, I'm not denying the fact that there are some college degrees that are job specific, like law or med. I'm just pointing out that college degrees can offer a variety of choices if a student decides to change their mind. Even with job-specific degrees, they can be transferable to multiple job fields. My opponents mentioned that gun violence and sexual assault can take place on campus, and this could cause mental problems for students, causing them to drop out. But there are opportunities for students to pursue a college degree of their choice. If a student is passionate about their career of choice, such an event that takes place may take them off campus, but not cause them to drop out. College courses can also be taken virtually, and there is mental health support on campus. My opponents also lack a very important step in vocational training, apprenticeship, which can take about 3 to 4 years, the same amount of time of obtaining a bachelor's degree. Thank you. I urge you to vote negative.
Now it's time for affirmative cross-examination. You have 2.5 minutes, and the timer will start when you ask your first question.
You support college, correct?
Yes.
Can you name 3 words to describe college?
Adaptable. Adaptable, educational, experience.
Okay, judges, please keep that in mind. So I would ask you if you're aware of the discrimination of students with special needs. However, my constituent Wayne has already educated you about this. Why do you support this?
I support college preparatory courses because in the long run,
I'm sorry, can I clarify my question? Why do you support colleges discriminating against students with special needs?
I do not.
So you recognize that that's a problem?
I recognize that that could be a problem in any field, not just college field.
But you know, do you have any statistics showing vocational training discriminating against students with special needs?
No.
Oh, okay. In your speech, you gave a statistic about unemployment for college graduates versus high school graduates, correct?
Yes.
So we're not talking just about high school graduates, we're talking about vocational training graduates, so do you have a statistic about that?
No.
Okay. At the beginning of your speech, you talked about minorities and identities referencing African Americans, correct?
Yes.
Are you aware that women and students with special needs are also a minority?
We're talking about minority communities, which, as I stated, is a large percentage of Black or African American.
So you don't think that women have their own community or students with special needs have their own community?
It's not about what I think. What I'm focusing on is the larger percentage of minority communities, which is Black and or African American.
You do recognize that women are the biggest minority, right?
Women in minority communities are not the biggest minority. It's research.
That's not true, but that's okay. You said there's mental health help on campus, right?
Yes.
Why would a student want to go back to where they were assaulted?
Just because a student was assaulted on campus does not mean that they wouldn't want to seek that professional help.
Why would they want to pursue that? Oh, thank you.
We will now take a 2-minute break. Coaches, you may approach your seats.
Judge, we have won this debate because we have shown how college prep courses are more stable, long-term, and easily accessible, especially to students of color. And this route prioritizes them. By steering minority students away from college and into vocational tracks, we risk creating a pipeline of cheap, easily exploitable labor. This isn't just about job training, it's about who gets to be the boss and who stays the worker. Let's ask ourselves, would this resolution ever be proposed in a wealthy, white, suburban district? If not, then why are we asking this, why is this okay in minority communities? My opponents are not responding to the automation argument. They're not responding to the apprenticeship argument, which is the same amount of time it takes to obtain a bachelor's degree from college. Not having college prep as an option is what's putting our disabled students behind. If they have that assistance or that help beforehand, that will prepare them for college, not putting them in such a disadvantage because they will already have that help and assistance needed. Once again, our first contention is career diversity. And we talked about how our students inside of minority communities are disadvantaged compared to white students inside of educational fields. Our second contention was stability and how college is a more stable route than vocational training. Our third contention was educational freedom, which means we believe in giving our students a chance to decide. No, we're not knocking the arguments of vocational training. We're just saying that college preparatory courses should be an option as well as vocational training. Vocational training should not be provided over college preparatory courses because it doesn't do more than college preparatory courses. By giving our students a chance to decide what they want to be in life, whether they want to work a job or have a career, is what we're standing for. Judges, I urge you to vote negative. Thank you.
Now time for the affirmative rebuttal. You have 3 minutes and the time will start when you say your first word.
Once again, judges, my name is Kyla Canty, and I'm here to reiterate and reaffirm the resolution: schools should provide vocational training over college preparatory courses in predominantly minority communities. Let me show you who really won this debate. Let's go over our main 2 points. First, vocational training is much more cost-effective than college. Raise your hand if you have college debt. Keep your hand raised if it's an issue for you. Oh, okay. Whether you look at the Harvard Law students with 6 figures worth of debt, Howard students begging for help through GoFundMes, or a simple bachelor's degree drowning students in debt. Secondly, vocational training creates business owners and entrepreneurs, while college simply teaches you how to be a good employee. As wonderful Wayne has stated, vocational training helps create business owners at a much higher rate than college. While only 2.5% of college students go on to be business owners, 25% of vocational training students become entrepreneurs. Additionally, we provide the needs and opportunities that college doesn't, whether that means support for students on the spectrum, a safe environment, or efficient help with finding employment. Now, let's dissect the negative claims. Truly prioritizing students means prioritizing their safety, their well-being, their finances, and more. The simple fact of this debate is the negative doesn't truly know what they want. They have argued for career diversification, yet they contradict themselves and want students to stay stagnant in the career they graduate in. If they really wanted career diversification, they would go for vocational training. They've argued about forced labor. However, if you don't want forced labor, you should be advocating for entrepreneurship, which vocational training already provides. That's who becomes the boss. As AI advances, automation can happen in any career path. They've also talked about apprenticeships. However, this is just another reason why vocational training is needed. We help those minority students obtain those apprenticeships and go on to be successful. They mention stability. However, stability doesn't just mean a high paycheck. It means financial freedom. Even if you make 6 figures a year being a lawyer, will it really matter if your student loan debt is 6 figures too? We've mentioned debt and the impact of finances a lot, because the truth is, it's a big deal. Not only will students be financially unstable, there's a risk they'll be mentally unstable as well. They have the risk of becoming a victim of the culture of college, which we've already went over. Their response, it can happen anywhere. Envision this, being an 18-year-old black woman with a higher chance of getting into the most college debt. You are the first in your family to graduate high school. And walking across that stage, not just with a diploma, but with a welding certification in your hand and a $60,000 job lined up. No debt, no waiting, just pride, purpose, and a paycheck. For these reasons, the resolution must stand, and I urge you to vote for it. Thank you.
All right, great job, students. Let's give them one more round of applause. To tally your ballots and hand them to me. After that, we will choose 1 to 2 judges to give final remarks to the conductors. Good luck to both teams.
Drop it.